fresh.
Has to be fresh.
Yeah, right. And then she says, we're eating in days, because what happens to fruit, y'all? Yeah, they start to rot. You bring home cantaloupes or peaches or squash or whatever, and you leave it. We have refrigeration, which makes those things last longer. But if you don't eat them, even in refrigeration, they're going to start to get rotten. Or your parents leave an avocado on the counter or a cantaloupe. You don't cut it up right away. It's going to rot. Have y'all heard the saying, one bad apple ruins the whole bunch? Have y'all heard that saying? Okay, because once a piece of fruit starts becoming ripe, it lets off this, I think, methane gas or something like that, which helps the other fruit on it become ripe, but sometimes that just causes everything to ripe too fast and get bad. That's why, one bad apple ruins a bunch. So anyway, so she's saying you got to eat it in days, and she says obvious, but in my family they went so fast. What does she mean by that? They ate them quickly. Yeah, they didn't give time to just sit there. And then what does she mean when she says, I never saw the mess that punishes delay? She never saw it. She never saw the food rot, because it was just sitting there for days, because they were too quick in eating what they got. Very good. Okay, so you see how you figured that out? Look at the way she says, I never saw the mess that punishes delay. She couldn't use words like, I never saw the fruit rot at our house because we all just ate it too fast. Right? That says a lot, and it's not as poetic and beautiful as what she says. Okay. Next stanza. Somebody want to volunteer? Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I thought everyone bought fruit by the crate, stored in the coolest part of the house, then devoured it before any could rot. I'm from the peach state, and the world I like these life, love too nice, and they might not live it up. In truth, the reason we bought so much did have to do with being Chinese. At least Chinese is the part of America, both strangers and natives. On a lonely, beautiful street where food came in stackable containers and plastic bags, unless you bothered to drive to the stores where the same money landed a bushel or fruit, a 20-pound sack of rice. You had to drive anywhere, each house surrounded by land enough to grow your own. If land hadn't been acquired at home, I like to put it into the flood or storm, provided the power stayed on or fire and ice to be
procured,
which would be labor intensive, but so was everything else my parents did. Their lives were labor. They kept this from the kids. Grew up to use, work with pleasure, to become typical immigrants' children, taller than their parents and unaware of hunger, except when asked the odd. How do you say that? Perplexing question.
Yeah. She sort of changes her thought right at the very end with that last thing, except when asked the odd perplexing question. There she wants to end with a bang. That perplexing question is that, but where are you originally from? It's almost like, boom, that hits you right at the end when she's talking about, never going hungry and being, immigrant families, and then boom, she that like comes out of nowhere, slaps her in the face out of nowhere. Okay, thank you, Jimmy, right?
David.
Oh, David. Sorry, David. I appreciate your reading for me. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong. Okay. Sorry, David. Thank you so much for reading for me. All right, so let's kind of tear this apart. In the second stanza, when she said, I thought everyone brought fruit by the crate, this is a woman who's reflecting back to her childhood, just like Amy 10 is reflecting back to her childhood. But do you do things in your house that when you've been somewhere else and you go, man, I thought it, that's weird. I thought everybody did it this way. Has anybody ever, felt that? Any, you want to tell me how? You want to give me an example how to do it? Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. I'll give you an example. So when I was growing up, some of the foods that we ate, like fruit, watermelon and apples, my dad used to put salt on them, watermelon and apples. And so when I became an adult and I married, my kid's dad, and he saw me doing that, he said, that's weird. Or grapefruit. I used to put salt on grapefruit because I was raised, seeing my dad do that. And I thought everybody did that. So he made me feel bad when he say, that's weird. People put sugar on grapefruit. You're putting salt. And so anyway, on watermelon now, a lot of us put that lemon salty stuff on it. Yeah. Okay, my dad also used to, and people thought it was weird that I put salt on apples. And then also my dad, when we were growing up, whenever we ate soup, for those of you that are non-Hispanic, right? Whenever we ate soup, my dad would get a corn tortilla, put salt on it, and then roll it up. Okay, so those kind of things, when I'm young and I don't understand other people's cultures, I'm very young and I don't understand what goes on the outside. I thought everybody did that. So I can relate to what Adrian says right there. And then she says, that they ate these peaches right away before they could rot. And then she says, I'm from the peach state. And to those who ask, well, where are you from originally? I'd like to reply, the homeland of the peach. But I'm too nice. And they might not look it up. What does that imply? What? What does that imply? We know she's from Georgia, right? She's in Georgia. She's living in Georgia. So somebody comes across her, meets her, I don't know, at the grocery store. Well, where are you originally from? She's Chinese, right? And she says, I want to tell them I'm from the homeland of the peach. I'm nice. And they might not look it up. What does she mean? What can you infer from that? So you don't even have to have her experiences, but she tells you enough for you to infer. What is that? What does she mean? What? Somebody? She doesn't want to be mean, right? So she's got some manners. Her parents have given her good manners. But what does she mean when she says, I want to tell them, I'm from the home of the peach? But I don't tell them because they're not going to look it up anyway. And I don't want to be mean, be sarcastic. What can y'all infer from that? Anybody? Think. Because like when y'all learn star, right, you're going to get a poem that you're going to have to unravel. I'm listening to unplug this. If you want to plug in, I'll let you plug in here. And thank you, Elvis. Anybody? If she's from Georgia, Georgia is a state known for peaches, but hey, Texas has peaches too, right? So she says, I'm from the homeland of the peach. Yes?
She's from where the peaches were first grown.
Yay! Yeah! So even if you didn't know that, right? If you didn't know that, she's implying that. I'm from the homeland of the peach. Darn it. And she says, but I don't want to say it because, okay, she's good, raised with good manners. I'm not going to be rude. And they probably wouldn't look it up either. If you all look that up right now, where the peach originated from? China. Okay, so that's what that means. And then she says, in truth, the reason we, her family, fought so much did have to do with being Chinese. At least Chinese in that part of America, both strangers and natives. What does she mean by that? I just read to you a little bit of her background. What does that mean? Okay. Her or maybe her parents?
Parents.
Yeah, you're right. She's a native of Georgia. She's born there. She's like probably first generation. But her parents are the strangers because they come from China. I mean, she mentions being a child of immigrants, so we know that her parents weren't from here. And then she says, on a lonely street, beautiful, where food came in stackable containers and funny bags. What does she mean by that? Strangers and natives, right? Where food came in stackable containers or fussy bags. If you imagine her parents being there in 1948, 1950, say, I don't know, let's just give them an age, 30 years old. So dad, mom, born like 1918, 1920. Do you think they had supermarkets over there in China like H-E-B?
No.
No. Do any of you watch like cable TV where you see these, where you see shows about farmers markets, and we have them here in America, but like when you see these cooking shows where somebody's traveling abroad and they go to these markets like every day, they go and they pick their chicken that's been just killed that morning and plucked, the fish that has just been brought in, they're picking their fruits, they're picking ginger root, they're picking all of these things. And so she's saying, if she's saying she lives in neighborhoods beautiful where you get food in stackable containers, what does she mean? See, this is how you all have to like interpret and unravel poetry. Think, 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 think. Where do you guys get food? Where do your parents get food? Did you see them stacked up? The boxes stacked up, the cans stacked up. Yeah? In like a grocery store, at Sam's, at Costco. Stacked food, stackable containers. That's what she's talking about. That they live now, right, in a place where you go to the darn grocery store and you're buying a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese, you're buying a box of cereal, you're buying a can of chicken broth, a can of soup. Okay? And then she says, unless you bother to drive to the source where the same money landed a bushel of fruit. Okay, so we're going to go to H-E-B and we're going to buy nectarines at $2.99 a pound. But if you drove to Fredericksburg, you know, they might give you a huge basket and say, pick all the people you want for $1. Right? How many of you had this experience going to an orchard, an apple orchard, a strawberry field, or a pumpkin patch, and picking your own fruit or pumpkins? Yeah, so that's what she's saying. Go to the grocery store unless you drove away to go, you know, pick it. And then she said, where the same money landed a bushel of fruit, a 20-pound sack of rice, or what else could she mean? Unless you drove out of your neighborhood, you found that ethnic store where you can find a humongous bag of rice, right? How many of you been into an ethnic food store? Yeah, we Hispanics have our own. Do you know which one that is? The real popular one that's got a lot of stores all over San Antonio? Hispanic market, Mexican, more to Mexican. Yeah, Michael, you know which one I'm talking about?
The meat market.
Yeah, the meat markets, yeah. There's a lot of them. Which is the most popular one that you see? There's Culebra Meat Market, yes, because there's more than one. And what else? The Michoacan. What, the Michoacan? Yeah. Yeah, that one. And you go in there and there's all this ethnic food there that you could buy. Anybody that's from a different culture, there are lots of ethnic foods for like, you know, Asian markets. There are Indian markets, right? So that's what she's talking about too, where you could get maybe these, you know, 100-pound sacks or whatever, 20-pound sacks of rice. Okay, you had to drive away, each house surrounded by land enough to grow your own. What she's describing is that in Georgia, the neighborhoods, you had ginormous yards. You know what? And that's unusual because probably where our families came in China, having that much land, you'd be growing your own food. She says, at home, I love to stare into the extra freezer, reviewing mountains of foiled wrapped meats, cakes, juice concentrate, mysterious packets brought by house guests from New York Chinatown. Okay, what do you think that she means by that, mysterious packets brought by a house guest from New York Chinatown? Yes, absolutely. You know what? Most of the Chinese in this time period were in California or New York. right? They were just a few there, you know, Atlanta, they were there. But when they had visitors, man, their families were bringing